Hi, beautiful Eros community. So excited for you to be joining us on Saturday. So just a few things that I wanted to cover, and don't mind me, I will be looking down at my notes just to make sure that I don't forget anything. So the first thing I really wanted to talk about is attunement, and this is attunement to ourselves and to others. So a lot of the practices that we do at Temple are about this, about going from, okay, checking in with ourselves and then being able to go into intimacy with another. And that's the beautiful dance of intimacy, is being able to go between the two really easily, being able to check in with ourselves and then with another. So this is basically done by self-inquiry. In the other video that Nick's done, it's all about the senses and resourcing our nervous system. And we do this so that we have the ability to actually be able to catch ourselves if we start to become heightened. So this could be through an intense heart rate. It could be because we're starting to disassociate in one way. So really it's just about tuning in and checking in with ourselves. How am I feeling in this moment? And then the next is attuning to another. So this is really important. I'll discuss later in the video about interrupting a scene. But this is just really about feeling into another person's energy. You know, what is their facial expressions? Are they enjoying this interaction? What is their body telling you, their body language? Are they making eye contact with you, or are they kind of looking around the room? So this is about attuning to now another person and really being able to get a gauge for where are they at in this moment. And obviously we can never possibly know anyone's full story, right? What we can see and perceive is just the tip of the iceberg, but we can really feel into, okay, what is this person's body language and energy telling me in this moment? And this is super important for intimacy work, because obviously we're moving through spaces with other people, so we just need to be really aware of, you know, how are these other people in the space responding to me and my energy, and yeah, just on their own as well. Cool. So the next thing is traffic light. So we often do the traffic light game at Temple, but basically this is just a really good way to be able to, whilst you're in a scene, be able to say a boundary without having to speak a full sentence. Sometimes when we're in subspace or in a scene, it can be kind of hard to say exactly what you're feeling. So this can be a really good tool to use. I use it all the time in my life, and I use it a lot with my clients. And basically, just like the traffic light, so green meaning go, amber means it's starting to tickle or it's starting to become uncomfortable in some way. So you can give orange with a correction. So it could be orange, can we change to a different position, or this is starting to hurt a little bit, can we switch it up? And then red is stop immediately, I need to reassess and renegotiate the scene because it's not working. So that's like a immediately end. Then the important thing for the person doing the action to the other is to say thank you. So when the person who is receiving speaks a boundary, whether it's orange or red, it's being able to say thank you for speaking that boundary. And that just rewires the brain to be able to feel safe to speak up when, yeah, it can be really hard. We don't want to reject the other person, and it's not about a personal rejection, but yeah, just being able to rewire that patterning to make them feel safe to be able to speak up. The next thing is the numbering system. So this is epic. I love this system. I use it all the time, and this is specifically for impact play. So what we'll do is, so if we've got a flogger or we've negotiated a scene with someone, it could be around spanking or any kind of thing where it's requiring a little bit of fiery touch. This is when we use the numbering system. So whenever we're doing impact play, we're always making sure we're heating up the area, we're bringing warmth, we're bringing some slow, you know, kind of movement to the area, whether it's the bum cheek, for instance. Let's just say we're bringing some, you know, some heat to the space. We're not just going in and whacking it straight away. So we're heating it up, warming up the area, and then maybe we might do one slightly harder, and then that's the point that we check in with the sub or with the person receiving the action. So you just check in and just say, all right, how is this out of 10? So 0 being absolutely can't feel it, 10 being that's excruciating. And you know, most people are seeking about like a 5, but that's just, you know, you just don't know what someone's 5 is. So this is why we ask, because, you know, you could say one person, you know, they say that they wanted a 5, but the other person's 5 is going to be completely different. So, and it also changes from moment to moment, and as we know, like women's menstrual cycles as well impacts this as well. So always important to get a new number from them, and then you ask them where they want to be. So maybe on that first whack it was like, oh, that was about a 2. I'm like, great, where would you like to be tonight? And they go, oh, I'd love to be at a 7, or maybe we could push an 8. So I'm like, great. Start to kind of build it up. You're kind of feeling into their body. Again, going back to attunement, you're feeling their body. Is it tense? Have they completely seized up after that hit? Maybe you've gone a little bit too hard. You might have to ask them to breathe and relax and surrender and open their body again. And then you can kind of start the process again. Always checking in as well. You kind of be noticing them and also getting verbal consent that it's good. Obviously, once you've played with someone a number of times, this process gets easier. It's always clunky at the beginning, but just trusting that by checking in, it's better to over check in than to not check in, right? Great. So the next thing was setting up a scene. So obviously at Temple we have lots of different spaces, so there's opportunity for so many different kinds of scenes to go down. Obviously in the real world, the best practice is to obviously go through the RBDSM chat, and that's relationships, boundaries, desires, sexual health, and meaning. And this is really cool to go through, especially if there's someone that you're, for instance, not planning on not using protection or any of these kind of more intimate acts, so that you can really know, okay, are they in a relationship? You know, these kinds of things are really important to ask. If people are at Temple, it's kind of implied that they're going to want to play, and they would have already discussed prior to coming to Temple if they were not wanting to play or engage with everyone. Then maybe a couple just stays in the corner, or maybe they've decided their rules are no kissing, and most people they'll speak that. So when you have a new interaction with someone, they might just say, oh, I can't do any kissing or something because of my partner who's a couple of meters away. So the RBDSM, I mean, you're welcome to do this at Temple, but obviously because a lot of the interactions are kind of short, sharp and sweet, that's kind of a very much more in-depth conversation, but it's such a beautiful tool. So it's RBDSM, and it was the guy who's founded ISTA, I believe, that founded that body of work. So highly recommend looking into that. So the next thing, is setting up a scene at Temple. So I think just like a nice little quick version. First thing, what are you desiring? You know, what is it that's on your heart? What would you like to experience if you're asking someone, or maybe you've got a desire and you're going up to someone going, I really want to be spanked tonight, or I really want like 2 dicks. Like, what is the thing that is you're like really excited to experience? Maybe you want to go on the restraint chair, or you want to experience wax play, or you want a 4-handed massage. Like, what is it that lights you the fuck up, that your body is like, yes. So discussing the desire and determining whether that one person or people can meet that desire. Then you're discussing boundaries and consent. So this can be as simple as, where would you like to be touched, or where don't you want to be touched, and is there any way that you don't want to be touched? Some people really don't like specific, like biting. Some people don't like that. So just like feeling into yourself. If you don't know, then I would say the process would be just to kind of close down your eyes, take a breath, and your body will know. Your body always knows. It might just take a little bit longer to get that answer. So if someone tells me they don't know, then I don't play with them because it's too risky, and you really need to give someone the space to be able to know what their boundaries are. So something else I wanted to say on that. It'll come back to me. Cool, so that's boundaries and consent. So yeah, just a quick little discussion around that. That's right. So yeah, obviously at Temple it's a non-penetrative space, so there's obviously a limit to where it can go. But yeah, obviously you can still do oral and like kissing and things like that, so it can still get really intimate. So yeah, really good to have that discussion. And then obviously, like, I wanted to just sprinkle this in, and that is time. So I've had the experiences in temples that I've played in where I've set up a scenario with someone but then felt kind of trapped because I really wanted to go and experience like a few different things that night. So I would just as well speak into how long you plan on playing with them, or what your intentions are for the rest of the night, just so that they have a bit of an idea as well, like, oh, could we just make this like a 10-minute scene? Or if you're like, oh my god, this is the hottest guy or hottest girl in the room and I've been dying all night to play with them and all I want is to play with them for the rest of the night, then obviously this doesn't matter. Just thought I would mention that because it's come up for me before. And then the next thing is to discuss aftercare. So is there anything specific that your body or that you know that you need after a scene is finished? So that could look like just doing some breathing together, having a quick chat, a little hug, going to get some food, maybe some shaking. All of those are good little ways. So just to summarize the pre-chat for setting up a scene is desire, boundaries and consent, time, and aftercare. So super simple, just go through those things, boom, 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 then you can start the scene. So then you got the main session. So the best way I like to start a scene is to start with attunement. So this is starting with a breath. You can place your hand on either your heart or their heart, or something like that involves like coming into the heart space, and coming into their heart space is really beautiful. Eye gazing, sharing a few breaths, especially after having this discussion. There's a lot going on in the room. You kind of start to get a little bit like, ooh, a bit excited. So it's really nice just to kind of sink back in and, you know, remember what you're here for, and that's to experience pleasure, to deepen your capacity for play and eros and connection. So that attunement piece can really make a difference when you're setting up a scene. And then obviously, flow into whatever it is. And then providing the aftercare. So having a little hug or a cuddle, and thanking each other for the fun that you've created, or having a discussion around what worked and what didn't work. Sometimes some people love to do that as well. Cool. All right, and then the next thing is how to interrupt. So obviously in temple, there's lots of different little things going on. You might be like, oh, I really want to go and experience what's going on over there. And it can be a little bit awkward when you're not quite sure how to interrupt. So the best thing here is to kind of just come into the space, and you'll start to feel when your energy is in their little energy bubble. You know, quite a few meters away, you're not really going to affect their energy, but if you start to come kind of closer, then you're kind of coming into their little intimate play zone, and they'll notice you, right? And maybe they might say, oh, come and join, or they might have a request. Or you could just kind of sit where you are, maybe get onto their level, whether it's crouching down or if they're all standing, you know, just kind of standing near and just watching, right? It's a full permission space. So if you're a voyeur, then you're obviously welcome to do that in the space. It's welcomed, and people expect and know that will happen. And then, feeling in, like attuning to them. Okay, all right, does it feel like my presence or what I could bring would be really yummy for this? Where am I at? Where am I at in the wheel of consent? Am I in my take? You know, or do I want to serve? Do I really want to serve this person? Do I really want to be able to offer something to the space? So feeling into that, and then make a request, whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you. So that could just be, could be anything, right? It could be, maybe they're doing a massage, and you're like, can I, would I be able to massage your feet? Or another way to frame that would be, would you like it if I joined? Or would you like it if I massage your feet? And then that kind of takes out the pressure from the people in the scene to like kind of reject you. Just kind of takes away that, diffuses that a little bit. So I'll just reiterate that. Would you like it if I joined? Would you like it if I massaged your feet? Is a nice way to interrupt. And I guess on that, don't be afraid of rejection. Like, it's not personal. It's just one of those things. People kind of ebb and flow throughout lots of different scenarios. They might just be really into what's being created in that moment, but there's nothing more powerful than being able to just speak into your desire and have that be met, right? And have them go, fuck yeah, we would love for you to join. And that's how the spiciness can really get created, especially because there'll be lots of stuff already happening. So, you might feel like, there's already things happening, I can't join in. You absolutely can join in. It's all just about attuning and then asking in this really beautiful, supportive way that you want to participate. Great. Well, that's all of my little pieces. So thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to see you on Saturday night.